10. Let's get to the stream, and we are live. Friday night live. Big big news tonight, and welcome to the channel. If it's the first time you've been on the channel, make sure that you hit the thumbs up. How many people have we got online? We've got 16 people. Can we get a comment just to make sure that the sound is okay, and then we'll get fired in with some questions. But is it the fact, I want to talk about this first of all. Do you think that we are stronger right now? Remember last season, all the talk was about going into the window and coming out of it stronger. Now, as it stands just now, the only player that we've lost is Jota. But due to injuries to certain players, it actually makes us weaker on the pitch. You think about Alistair Johnson. Alistair Johnson's probably the only person that I would have said, hi, Paul. Hi, Jason. We can hear you. Sadly, that's it. It's unlucky for some. Anyway, get the comments coming on, and I'll get yous on the channel as soon as we can. Yes, Chill Pill says we are weaker. We're definitely weaker. The big news tonight that's been breaking, Anthony Joseph has said, I'm going to talk about this first of all. I've just seen a post, and it's quite funny because this talks about people that are starters, right? So give me a minute for just read this. So starters for the team would be Alistair Johnson, Carter Vickers, Starfelt, O'Reilly, Hatate, McGregor, Abada, Kyogo, and Maida. Backup, he's not got a keeper in there, this guy that's put this up. Backup would obviously be Hart, Taylor, Ralston, Turnbull, Ohm, Awata, Haskabanovic, Tilo, and O. And then players that shouldn't be anywhere near Celtic, this goes on to say. Bain, I could see that one. Siegrist, and the thing about Siegrist as well is Siegrist has been talking about, well, his missus has been talking about the fact that she's obviously in Australia and she's like some supermodel or whatever, but she's on about him joining him. So is he just going to see out his contract at Celtic and then jump ship to Australia to be with his missus? Back to the players that are garbage. So Siegrist, Kobayashi, Bernabe, Welsh, Scales, Gucci. Is he still even at Celtic? No, I think he doesn't come back until the end of 2023. I think he's got the whole season down there. Udegaard, McCarthy, Soros, Shaw, Forrest, Mikey Johnson, Ajeti, and Stephen Kenny. What is going on with Stephen Kenny? Is he still out on loan or is he back in the fold? Anyway, the big news is that Celtic are supposedly, and now this comes a couple of days after Brendan says that we weren't looking at a keeper, but the news has broken tonight that we're after the Dinamo Zagreb keeper, the number one Croatia keeper, Dominik Lajkovic. Is that true? I mean, it said that Fenerbahce and Villarreal are also keen on the player. Are we really after a goalkeeper of that stature? That would be a statement signing and a half if we were to go out and get him. Would we go for a Croatian goalkeeper? That would absolutely be phenomenal if we were to go. That would be a statement signing and a half. And he would be one of the top earners of the club for sure. So let's jump on into some of the comments and see who's all online. And then we'll talk about more. So Lee Johnson says, you can sadly hear me. And hail Paul. Hail Paul Baird. And sound is fine. Let's get to some of the comments. That AJ news was shocking. It was, Jason. I think that was a big shock to everyone. The fact that he'd actually been under the knife already was quite a bit of a surprise to all of us. Celtic have been really good at keeping things out the press just now, and they're keeping a lot of the stuff out the press about transfers. So hopefully, obviously, the big news this morning is we finally got the Yang deal done, and that was confirmed by sources in South Korea. Hail Troops, says Paul. But you know what? I believe in Tony Ralston. Yes, Tony Ralston got a bit hard end of the stick. I think he was injured a bit last season, and he does get a bit of a stick. And he did have that really good first season under Ange. So hopefully he can refine that form. We still need 3 or 4 players, and says Bob. We definitely. I think as it stands just now, the other side will be thinking they've not improved any. They've not got any better. Beale was getting to grips with the way that we were playing before. So were a lot of teams in the SPFL. There was a lot of teams that were actually starting to have a go at us again. So as it stands just now, I would actually say that we are weaker and we still need those 3 or 4 big players in not just squad players. You know, I know we've went out and we've got a couple of players. And what about Marco? Marco's injured for 8 weeks. We're getting in players that we know are injured, which is a bit of a strange one for Celtic. A bit of a strange one, that. The first team is definitely not stronger, says San. We need a left back. We definitely need a left back. Sean says, evening Baz and all hail. Let's get another comment up. Because Hyun's gone as a goalkeeper. I don't know about that one. Hail, drive, God, hail, troops. I would never leave backup goalkeeper. The goalkeeping situation is a strange one. Going for this Croatian goalkeeper would be a real statement of intent by Celtic. Joe Hart is in the final year of his contract. Will Celtic renew that contract within the year? I think as a goalkeeper, it's a position that we really need to be playing in as a player. And if we want to build a team, if we really want to build a team that's going to have a crack in Europe for the next couple of years, we need to make a statement. And, you know, and it is going back to like signing the holy goalie. Going out and signing a young, really athletic goalkeeper that's going to make it's going to be the backbone of the club. And you sometimes felt, especially last season, there was some of the. I mean, if Brendan is sitting looking at the footage of last season and some of the pass backs and Hart scrambling for the ball, and you're like, oh my God. I mean, as fans, you're covering your face going, Christ, he's going to do it again. I think he does have that in him. We need a real top goal. Look, Hart is a top goalkeeper. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. He has all that experience, and he's probably a great person to have around the club. The fact that he's doing some of the training with the younger guys and the coaching side, could that be a position that Celtic could use him in the future? Could it be the fact that, we're going to keep him for this year and then offer him a position as a goalkeeping coach? You never know. And then maybe this young keeper from Croatia would be the man to handle over and say, right, this is going to be our keeper for the next 3 or 4 years. That is top class. So tell me your thoughts. MJ is injured. In other words, everything is normal. It is. You've got to feel for Mikey Johnson as a player. He had so much talent and he's just never really reached his potential. Look, there's lots of Celtic players out there that if we can get for $2 million, if we can get Mikey Johnson, he's a player that had so much talent, but he's been injured so much, and he's just, everything seems to have went against him. Gunner's a good shout out, says Jason. 6 million apparently, and he's in the last year of his contract. 6 million is easy money for us just now. We've got 30 or 40 million pound to spend. We need to start getting in play, and we're all scrambling. I think we're a bit used to the fact that in the last 2 years we've done our business early, and we thought this is a great new beginning for the club. Get our business done early, get everything done, get pre-season in, and just crack on. The fact that we had no Champions League qualifiers this year, everyone thought the same would happen. We would maybe get our players in early, we'd get a settled team, we'd go into the season fresh with everyone up to speed. And as it happens just now, we've probably got more players on the treatment table than we really would like to at this time of the season. Andrew Rennie says, come on, you boys in green. Jason Lee, prefer Scottish lads on the team. Is there Scottish lads that can come in? This is a serious question. Is there Scottish lads that can come in and improve our squad and make a real impact? And there's obviously been the links with McTominay down south. There's been big talk about Kieran Tierney coming back on loan. Kieran would definitely be one of those players that you would definitely take back. And he's a definite player that has that international experience and Champions League experience. I'm in the Costa Blanca, mate. A lot of people know where I am because if you look up Paddy's Point, I'm in that region. So, hopefully we can start bringing in players. Now, it's a shame about Mikey Johnson. It seems jinxed. It does seem that. I think the players that have signed the 2 Koreans, Brendan must be having a look at him. The midfielder is 6'2", a big fella. Well, we did say last season that we needed a bit of height in the team. And if we're going after this midfield player that's 6'2", that can only be a good thing. But it's another unknown. It is another unknown. We've been speaking about the fact that we need to bring in quality, and we need to bring in quality to the club that's going to take us to. Everything was all said last season by the club. You know, we want to bring in players that are going to take us to that next level to be able to compete in the Champions League. Bringing in players from the other side of the world is fine. Bringing them in and we can make some money off them is all fine. I think we got really lucky with the Jota deal. He was kicking about in the reserves at Benfica, and how nobody really picked him up. We got really lucky with him. And as Brendan says, Brendan was really looking forward to working with Jota, and for the best part of 200 grand a week, you know, you're set up for life. Of course you're going to do it. Let's start spending the millions we've been banking. Yeah, we have got that money in the bank, but a lot of people have also looked at the books and they're saying, but Celtic have this 36 million on ongoing payments for players that has still to be paid. Yes, but that could be over a 3-year period. If we buy a player and we put them on a 3-year contract, 4-year contract, you probably find that some of those payments are actually scheduled to go over, say, 2 years. So it's good business for Celtic. It makes sure that we keep a good cash flow, and it doesn't mean anything untoward. When you look at the money that's cash in hand in the bank, I think we're sitting at around about 40 million just now. KT on loan says, chill pill. The best teams build from the back. They do that, Jason, and that's why I think if we were to go for this goalkeeper, and then bringing in another centre back would be a big statement. Someone that can dominate the area just as good as Cameron Carter-Vickers. Starfelt is good, and he has a good standard and he's good quality for Scottish football, but we really need someone with that little bit of European experience that we can bring in. And if we can bring a big Bobo Balde, for instance, to play along Cameron Carter-Vickers, somebody that gives us that real menacing backline that can also, dominate in the air, would be fantastic for one. Tony gives us a thumbs up. Make sure that you give the thumbs up to everybody on the Big Joe saved a penalty. Has Joe? I'm not sure. He's not saved one. Did he save one for Celtic? I can't remember. It was probably that rare Costa Blanca region in Spain. Yes, Hyun, boy, you're right. The big supporters club here and the region, there's a couple within good driving distance for me. There's Paddy's Point Celtic Supporters Club, and there is the Hoops Bar Guardamar. Hoops Bar is a fantastic Celtic pub, and the reason that I mentioned the Hoops Bar, it is a real Celtic pub. It's got Celtic memorabilia all over the wall, and it's it's run by Kate, who's fantastic up there. The Paddy's Point is it's more a Liverpool bar. The owner's a Liverpool supporter. It does have the Celtic Supporters Club running from it, and it is another fantastic bar. It is a big bar. And everyone in the region tends to go to Paddy's Point. If you've never been to a Celtic game at Paddy's Point, you're missing something. Mikey Johnson has an immense talent resting on those skinny ankles. Shock just says, I believe we'll be working the background. Definitely, I think that Brendan has come in. He's been looking at the squad to see who we have and who we have fit. I think when he looks at a lot of the video footage from last year, and he's probably been talking to Stevie Woods and some of the little things in the big man Joe's game that he could improve on. But he's at that age where he's at the other end of the business market. And he said that himself. He's not too worried about his career. He's not too worried about contracts or wherever it goes. I think he probably has. There's just something inside me says that he's maybe had that wee nod saying, look, if you want to take up a coaching role with us at Celtic after, would be more than delighted. And I think that's something. And he has said, Joe, in his interviews, he says he's good and he's given back to Celtic and the club that believed in him, and especially at his age. Even Barry Boy, hail, mate, says David. Hail, you, David. How are you doing tonight? Right, next one up is Derek Smith. The way Brendan can bring on players from where we were the first time round. This time, 3 players who I believe are going to shine are Iwata, Kobayashi, and Bernabe. That's I think Bernabe has got it in his locker to be that good player. Kobayashi, could he be the guy? And Kobayashi, could he be the defender that we need? You don't know. And there's a big shout. Hey, there's the man Stitch for the Joseph Rafferty Celtic Supporters Club. How you doing, Steve? How's things? I'm back home next week, by the way. Anyway, moving on to the next one. And by the way, the Joseph Rafferty Celtic Supporters Club for Kirkcaldy, I've got to say this. They have one of the biggest and best flags that has ever been at Celtic Park. You probably remember it at the Celtic end. I used to hang down for the top tier. It was absolutely it was a cracker. And but lots of people in the corporate section and on the lower tier used to complain that they couldn't see when the game first started. So yeah, give us a big shout out to any Celtic supporters club that you are in. So MJ has contributed less to Celtic than Barkas at this point. I think a lot of people haven't forgiven Mikey Johnson for the miss against Rangers, and I think as a player, I don't think he's going to progress the way that we were all hoping. You know, as a young Celtic supporter coming through, he's not going to get to the levels of Callum McGregor. You know, he's not even going to get. He couldn't lace Jamesy Forrest boots. Let's be honest. You know, he's got that. You can't even mention him, Mikey Johnson, with they two. And you kind of hoped you could as a Scottish player, but he's playing for Ireland now, isn't he? When the fact he's a homegrown talent, you would kind of hope that he could have made it, but unfortunately, I don't think he has. When you look at his injury, he's out with another 3 months. 3 months from now, you know, you're taking him up to November. He's going to then trying to get fit coming into December. More chance when we go away to wherever we're going for the winter camp that he probably comes back then. But then he's fighting for places in the team for players that have been playing all season. So that was the message just disappearing out there. Did you see that? Big Joe was on some big occasions. And get Armstrong back. Yeah, I noticed that Armstrong was there's an Italian club in for him, just for the song. Let's show my friend from Ireland. Okay, Martin, how are you? And let's get some more comments in. Great show, guys. Andy Baz Hill. We need to offload some players. Yes, we do need to offload some players. And at the start of the live, I did mention a lot of the players that we need to offload. I mean, we'll go through that list again. And when you look at the list, I mean, it is, you could probably say Stephen Kenny's never going to make it a Jetty. We need to get rid of him. Mikey Johnson, we'll let him run out his last year of his contract. Forrest, he's got another few years to go yet. Shaw, Liam Shaw, he'll probably go. Sorrow, he's needing out the door. McCarthy, the myth, the man, the myth. You can't say legend because it's just the McCarthy signing has to be one of the most strangest signings that we've ever had at Celtic. Liam Scales, I think Liam Scales would be better going up to Aberdeen. Gucci, he's still in Japan. Stephen Welsh, I think Celtic will keep him as backup. I know that Stephen, people are saying that he wants out the door. And, you know, Bernabe, I think maybe. But then it comes down to the two keepers, which is, it's completely strange that we signed on Bain for another 3 years, and then we've got Siegrist. There's like I said earlier, there's a funny bit of me when you look at his Siegrist's social media. She's obviously away back to Australia. She's this absolute superstar in Australia, and I think that she wants him down there. So I think he's just going to see at the end of his contract, and he's going to go down there. I'd take Kieran Tierney back in a second. He's definitely the only Scot who would come through the Premiership to play for us. Definitely Kieran Tierney would come back in all day long. I mean, Kieran was fantastic the first time around at the club, but you have to ask the question, and sometimes it doesn't work for players when they come back for a second time, you know, and history's kind of shown us that. And you don't want to lose, you don't want a player to come back and then maybe lose the legacy that they had first time round. And I think Kieran would really think about that also. And also you've got to think of the money side of it. No point having all this money and chasing players on the last week of the transfer window. Exactly. We need a big name to ruffle the crowd from across the city. We did say that at the beginning also. The fact that we've been used to it the last couple of years, been used to getting our transfer business done early. I think we couldn't get it done early well, we could have had it a bit earlier. You know, there was the rumour a couple of weeks ago that the two big signings, and it was basically just new deals for Dyson and Kyogo. It's a fantastic bit of business, but, you know, we're not going to strength. That's the worrying thing. We're not stronger at this point than... There's a long way to go in the window. We do know that. But we, as a club, would rather get our players in now, get them bedded in over, it's an important, the pre-season is probably the most important part. It's not just when the players are away, the team bonding side of it, it's the togetherness, the family togetherness that this squad has built. It's bringing players in and getting them integrated into that as soon as we can. And I think that's what we're kind of missing out just now. Jota, 200 grand a week, tax-free. 200 grand a week, tax-free. It's just, you can't even imagine what that would do to you. But anyway, good luck to him. He's in the past. Derek Smith. Saudi League players are taking home a hell of a lot of money. Jota is actually earning more than Kane at the moment. Yeah, but there's, I don't know what to talk about them, but the Kane thing is I think he's actually going to be offered 400 grand a week to stay at Spurs. So anyway, why the rush to spend? I don't think it's a rush to spend, Matt. I think it's more the fact that we need to we've got used to it over the last couple of years, and we kind of set a precedent of getting the good players in and getting them bedded into the team and making a bit of a statement. It's like I said, it's making sure that when a player comes in, he gets used to playing with everyone around him, and it's a big culture shock going to Scotland. So I mean, I totally understand why players leave Scotland at a young age and go abroad. I mean, we had a couple at Celtic that went over to Italy. Fair play to them, as a young Scottish player, I would advise anybody, and even if you're coming through the ranks at Celtic, if you've got the chance to go abroad, is go and just try it. I mean, I think it was probably the best thing that Mikey Johnson could have done. He had a reasonably good season, but it's just unlucky for him that he gets injured because we're loaded and the season's 3 weeks away. That's why we need to spend. So what position do we need to cover? We definitely need a left back. We need to cover for Johnson. Ralston's there, but he didn't have a great season last season. Yes, you can imagine having somebody like Big Bodo part in the CCV. Yes, that is what I said, David. It says the fact that if we can get in a big Bobo Baldi type player, somebody that's just going to run through people at the back, and Carter Vickers has that calm head, and the two of them working together. That's the type of player that we need. And I just think that would be immense. We need to get someone in like that soon rather than me, and especially for the Champions League. And bringing in a keeper of the Croatian keeper standard would kind of cement that. But I think as we're going into the season, Joe Hart will be that number one. Let's see someone in the comments. Just hope Rodgers improves the tactics in Europe. Yes, I think that's one thing. He won't stick to the one system. I think he'll be a bit more defensive minded when we're going to Europe. I think we played some interesting football for half an hour against Real Madrid. We were fantastic. The fact that then Real Madrid then do what Real Madrid do, they up their game, and then they basically started playing football, and then that was it. It was like night and day. The fact that we held our own and we kind of pushed them was good for us. And even they said after the game, they expected Celtic to do a lot better than what we did. They expected us to do quite well in the Champions League, playing the way that we did. But obviously that didn't happen. Don't want positions covered. We want real signings that will improve our team. Yes, we've said that before. Bringing in players that were brought in so far. I mean, I think the Marco thing, he's not even going to get to kick a ball. He's not even going to get any pre-season training. He's out for the next 8 weeks. That takes him into the first part of the season. So you're looking at probably October before he's fully fit and up to pace. That's a bit of it's a strange one. That Welsh is the new McNeil. Wow, Matt, that's a big, big statement. Do you think Welsh has got that in him? Do you think Welsh has got that level? Welsh has come in and done okay when he's done it in the past. He's maybe not had enough game time, but is he really? Barnaby has a lot of talent, but has to calm down. Yes, I think Rodgers will bring that out in him. Rodgers will bring out the type of player. He'll bring out the real player than Barnaby. And I think you can sometimes, under the way that Ange had us playing, and I think that attacking, getting the left and right back really pumping up and attacking and coming in midfield and everything, it's a lot to ask for players, especially when you're new to playing that system. The fact that he was new to playing that type of system, it'll be interesting to see the way that Brendan changes the team around and integrates the players like that. good, nothing special. New clubs does. YouTube always makes a player look good. You got to remember that there's a lot of people out there in the world that make a lot of money off of YouTube by taking little clips of players and the best parts, and they make good money at it. It's a lot of hard work, but they do get millions of views for it. I was in the Joseph Rafferty CSC, John, and the van legend is driving God. When were you in the Joseph Rafferty CSC, John? Anyway, next one, brilliant bus, absolutely fan. One of the best run buses from a financial point of view. If you want to run a CSC the right way, and I was convener of the bus for a good few years, and we used to have absolutely cracking away trips, didn't we, Stacia, if you're still watching? Some of the pubs and everything that we used to go to before games. But the away game scene is completely different now, and it's getting even harder and harder to get tickets for away games. So let's move on to the next one. Wait for the big names to come in, but the Asian market has done fine for us so far. It has done fine for us, but is it the fact that we've maybe picked the cream of the crop? That's my only fear. Is it the fact that we've maybe picked the cream of the crop already? And, you don't know. Rodgers, a new goalkeeper, would be like, he would like to see young Welsh given a defensive role. And Mikey Johnson needs more. He needs to move. The Scottish game doesn't suit him. Yeah, I think Mikey Johnson will probably just see out his contract. And you could see that Brendan was really disappointed that he hasn't seemed to go over his injuriness. His injuriness? Is that even a thing? The fact that he does seem to consistently pick up injuries. And I think Brendan had high hopes for him as a player from a young age. And as we all did, and I think you would like to have seen him progress. The fact that it was 4 years ago now since Brendan had last been in. And to be fair, Mikey Johnson's not improved any at all. Kobayashi doesn't look up to it. Awata could come good. Bernabe would definitely be our first choice left back under Brendan. That would be interesting to see. The fact that he's going to be fit, the position could be his. Not anymore. Just life took over. That's it. Life takes over. I've still got a lot of mates who still go to the football, who still have season tickets, and they've had their season tickets for 30 odd years. And a lot of guys from Fife, a lot of guys from Glenoffice, Sean Houston and all that. Sean runs the bus from Glenoffice now, and there's a lot of guys on the Kirkcaldy bus, on the Joseph Rafferty bus. There's a lot of guys that have been season ticket, and your hats off to the main man Rafs. God, I missed that bus. Anyway, move on. Hail, says Tam. Mac. They're not coming, mate. I've seen the movie so many times. If we don't sign players of a decent quality this transfer window, I think there'll be an absolute outcry. Joe Hart saved a penalty at Tynecastle, I'm sure. Yeah, Jenny, I know. Is it the ambulance? I don't know. They're doing CSC over 60 members. Got a wee Hyun Town. That's fantastic amount. I think what's going on outside? Ambulance. Yeah. Dunoon. Cracking wee town, that. It is a Hun enclave, though, isn't it? It's good that you've got 60 members. I think the CSC scene is so... It's what's important to Celtic as well. The fact that we do have all these clubs from all around the world, all around like Scotland, England, and the buses that Brendan picked on it as well when he was interviewed, the buses that come over from Ireland. I mean, I know a couple of guys that run the buses from Belfast and from Dublin, and the effort that these guys put in, even the Liverpool buses and everything, the Coventry bus, and then you go up to Aberdeen, the other side, you've got the Aberdeen buses, all cracking buses. And I think it's hats off to these guys. And a lot of people, as I said, I'm going to go on a rant. A lot of people moan that it's the same people that get tickets for away games. And these guys put a lot of money, and they spend a lot of money. It's unbelievable the amount. It's not just your season ticket. You then got your bus, you got your season ticket, you're going to away games every week. You're spending money on away games, then you've got your away bus, and then you've got your cargo. Jeez, it's brilliant. Anyway, I should be a millionaire by now. Wasn't too bad. Mikey Johnson missed against Sevco. Yep, he did miss against Sevco. Did we still win somehow? 10 men and all. Yeah, we did still. We did win, and it was against 10 men. We're down to 10 men. If ever in Canada, come to Durham CSC. We've got family in Canada. It's something that we've spoke about going over to Canada at some point. If Katie does come back, what will Brendan do with Greg Taylor? That's an interesting one, because will Greg Taylor then sit around and want to be backup? I think it would be a shame, because Greg Taylor has come on fantastic as a player. Has Greg Taylor got more improvement in him as a player? We don't know that. He improved dramatically under the previous manager. Everyone was wanting him out the door. You know, we brought him in for Kilmarnock and he wasn't at that standard, but then he played an absolute blinder 2 seasons ago. Last season, he was a mainstay. He was one of the first names that you were going to put down every week. So it would be hard on Greg if he was to come in. Who's going to buy a jetty? Who knows? He'll buy the treble this season to look forward to. I'm not going to say that before the ball's kicked and before we get any transfers in. I think we can start talking about it once we start winning games. The fact that we've got a few players out injured is never good at this time of the season. But as the manager says, for any doubters that have him or coming back in doubt, he'll see you on the front steps of Celtic Park come May. We have the finest squad of players as it is. We can just spend because we can't just spend because we're not talking about spending because we need, just because it's there. It is about getting these quality players in. And I think, as I said before, when you look back at the last couple of seasons, we have improved early on. And I think that's one of the things that we're kind of, as a support, we're kind of getting a bit jitterish. And do you know what the Celtic supporters like? It's one of the most jitterish goals. Hats off to the Lark Hall CSC. Must be like living in Palestine. I've got to tell you, I had a business back home, and I'm going to tell you, I've never told this on public before. I've done quotes for 3 mosques and 3 lodges. Now, one of the lodges, they had a floor that was over 150-year-old, and my company was the only company in Scotland that they could find that had worked on a similar floor. Now, needless to say, when it came to the handshake, the colour dropped out the guy's face. And to cut a long story short, the mosques, they signed up to a yearly contract. The lodges, tumbleweed because of the handshake. And that's a true story, by the way. That is a true story. Anyway, might keep Scales as backup. Could we keep Scales at backup? He could do it. He's fine for the Scottish League, but we're on about improving the squad, and that's what we all want to do. We want to improve. If you want to progress, you need to invest. That is very true. Paul Baird, Mikey has been unlucky with injuries. I think he'll run down his contract and leave. Yep, Brendan says that. I think he has to come in and taking Brendan's words, it's like every player, he's got to show that he's worth that new contract. Mikey's been so unlucky. I don't think he'd move to a team in Scotland either. I think he'll run down his contract and he'll move under freedom of contract. And then fair play to him. He could probably go down to a league down south, a lower league down south, and he'll do fine. Jason Lee says taking a pay cut is not an ideal situation. It's not, and I think you remember talking about Tierney. I'm sure Welsh will get his chance. 2 manager won't let him go out on loan. I think we didn't let him go out on loan because we needed cover. It's whether Welsh is at the stage of his career where he really needs to be playing first team football. When you get to that 23, 24 mark, if you're not playing first team, and totally why Bain has been at Celtic for so long is a complete strange one. Let's see this one. Let me see. Kieran Tierney is far better now than he was. He's more experienced. Yes, I know, but Kieran as well. He has had those little niggling injuries. New goalkeeper, big central defender, a powerful centre mid, and Rodgers will have his mind made up. Welsh is good at right back and can be a defensive midfield player as well. I think we will keep Welsh, but it is whether he's going to have the first team play. That's it. Russia CSC. Is that the one from Inverness that the Big Donald runs? Does Big Donald run your bus? Is that the one for Inverness? We need 1 or 2 more signings to bolster the squad. I think we really need a bit more than that to have the whole intent thing. We can win the league with a squad the way it is. But if we look back at the Champions League last year, was abysmal. Would this team have improved enough to take us into the Champions League? That's a bit of a worry. Look, it all comes down to the luck of the draw. Whether that nah, we need players in. We do. We need players in to improve the squad, and that is basically it. Hey, dude, hope you're having well. Good vibes from the north of Scotland, and to everyone in the chat. Says Connell. Right, we've been on for 35 minutes. God, already, and there's still loads of comments to get through. Jason Lee's no skint. Celtic would probably pay him 40 grand a week. And Martin, height and physicality is lacking. Yep. We need a big, for me, we need a big defender to sit beside Carter Vickers. Someone likes a big Bobo Baldi. We need a big centre midfield player that's going to dominate. A big, strong player that's not going to be pushed around off the park. There was too many of our players last year were in the Champions League, most definitely getting pushed off the ball. You know, they've not got the physical strength that they need for that level. And for me, a big the player to dominate a box is a different type of player to Kyogo, but we really need a big, powerful. I would love to see us go back to a 3-5-2, but I don't think it's ever going to happen in the modern game. But it's just the way that I like to see us play. I think Celtic as a team should always be playing with two strikers up front. I think the squad wins the league easily. A couple of signings would do nice. So, yep. Let's fire through lots more of the comments. I think we should go for Tillman. Leave it. Not a chance. Anyway, no need to panic. Brendan will maybe sign 4 quality players before the season starts. I think you're right, Hyun, but it's like I said, I want to get players in and get them bedded into the team, you know, and get us really firing. Start this season and make a right statement. Make a statement. The first game of the season, I'd like to see us making it. The first game of the season after putting the flag up is always a weird game because the players have got that buzz about them, are raising the flag, and the fans have, and it can sometimes be a bit of an anticlimax, the first game of the season. But I want us to start the season and go on and make a real statement win. A real statement win, like putting in 4 or 5 goals the first game of the season. When was the last game that was scored more than 3 goals the first game of the season? Tell me that for the next video. Mikey Johnson is made of biscuits. I don't think he's even made of biscuits. I think it's chocolate. I think he's maybe made of chocolate. And let's get some, probably he's up at high press in Europe. I think, yeah, we will be a lot more defensive minded. Brendan is 4-2-3-1. Or is it 4-3-3, isn't he? I think the formation that we will play is the 4-2-3-1 formation, which means that it is going to be attack-minded, and it could be a lot more defensive in Europe, which we all need. We need homegrown players. We do need homegrown players, but there's just no one that sticks out for me just now that is good enough. And we're not going to go and bring in like Sandy Johnson for it's not. There's no one in the Scottish League that could KT counts as Scottish. It does that, but will we bring him in on loan? Right, we've got 2 minutes to go. 2003. John. Right. John Ross. Jason Lee. Guys, at this point, we're more Europa League. Yep. And I think Brendan has kind of hinted at that with the press conference the other day. It is about competing in the Champions League, and I feel as if I'm repeating myself on the channel, but we are more a Europa club. Next year, when the format changes in the Champions League, we're obviously going to play 8 games in the Champions League, and you're going to lose that drop down for the 3rd position into the Europa. So we need to make as much of it as possible. We need to be in Europe after Christmas this season, no matter what. It's paramount. And I think secretly, behind closed doors in the club, they will be targeting that 3rd spot. They will be saying, look, if we can hit that 2nd spot in the Champions League, that would be fantastic. You know, it's maybe a goal, but they do have that little thing in the back of their mind that you have to think back to 2003 under Martin O'Neill, when we dropped down from the Champions League into the Europa, and then we had a good old run in the Europa to Seville. Maida will be better under Brendan Rodgers. I think there is a lot of players that will improve. Why let Mikey run down his contract? Sell him. He's injured. I would love to be in a position to sell him just now, but the fact that he's injured for another 3 months kind of that's that out the window, and nobody's going to come in and buy him when he's injured. Although Celtic have just bought someone when he's the young players that are coming through. Summers looks like young Vata as well. I'm still looking to see some of the younger players. Summers stepping up. I think that'll be good. Time to Mikey Johnson to forget it. Right, I'm going to skip right. I'm going to jump through a lawyer, do a raffle. Stephen Kelly gets comment of the day. Jesus, I'm going to cry. Oh my God, do a raffle. Do you think the clubs would actually do a raffle? It would have to be a raffle that they entered for nothing. Are we getting Tierney back? There's a lot of speculation about Kieran coming back on loan. That's it. It's all just speculation. Jason Lee, here's the squad. Right, there's loads of comments. I'm loving the comments on the right. Let's give the last one to Stephen Kelly. Centre back, forward, and a goalkeeper. There's loads of comments. I need to try and get down to the last ones. Lorna, there we go. Lorna, nice to see you on the channel tonight. Nice one, Stephen Kelly. I missed out what he said in the comments because I jumped to it. Nobody would buy a raffle ticket. We need a new goalkeeper. Estepona boy. Oh, wow. Sorry. The missus has just put her dress on and tell me to hurry up. There's a guy for Estepona. Estepona boy. Yeah, Karen spent a lot of time doing Estepona. Anyway, right. That's it for the night. The big news, well, it's not big news, but it's been alleged that Celtic are in the market for a goalkeeper, even though the manager said a couple of days ago that he was happy with the goalkeeping situation. He's looking at Dominik Lejkovac, Jesus, the Dynamo Zagreb keeper who has, in the last year of his contract, the #1 goalkeeper for Croatia. Would that be a statement signing? Is that the type of statement signing that you want at Celtic? For me, it is. It has remnants of the Holy Goalie era. I think he's up there. I think he's maybe the second best goalkeeper in the world just now. Would he come to Celtic, or will he end up in Saudi Arabia? Anyway, have a great weekend. All we need to make our Croatia quota. Hail says Jim. Jason Lee says we need to make our Croatia quota. Aussie Online, where have you been? Right, what we'll do is we're going to book this in for every Friday night. We'll have a lot of Friday night special the rest of the summer. We'll do it at 7 o'clock UK time from now on. And then we'll also do the Sunday roundup, the Sunday chit-chat roundup. We'll do that also. But we'll pencil in, just for you guys, we'll do a Friday night, 7 o'clock. If Kieran Tierney comes to Celtic, can he play against Arsenal in the Champions League? Probably not. That would be an absolute killer. First drink of diluting juice in 43 minutes. Right. Cheers. The last one goes to Lorna, good commentator. Thank you to everyone that has commented. We have had absolutely a load of comments. There is currently 279 people online. Hope you've all given it a great thumbs up. I will give you a little Celtic news update tomorrow morning, so make sure you check out that video. And then the next one will be Sunday. And then I was visiting my dad. I hope your dad is doing okay. I hope your dad's doing okay. Dembele. That's a hard one. Anyway, that's it. I'm winding it up. I'll wait till it gets right to the 44-minute mark, and then we'll call it a day. I'll wait till the 45. That's long enough. That's way long enough. Anybody that's been watching from the start, thank you very much for watching. Cheers to Lorna. Cheers to Stuart. Cheers to Jason. Aussie Online, you came on late. Derek Smith, cheers to you. Dembele is the last comment of the day. It's been fantastic doing these videos, and thank you to all the Celtic fans, and we are truly all around the world. Good evening.